I was stricken for you, baby. I was stricken.
What's up, everybody? I am Connor Hadden. Welcome to our Facebook live stream. I'm one of the Idle Tuesday studio interns. I'm here with another lovely intern. This is Sarah, our associate producer. Give it up, shout out to the interns. Oh yeah, okay. So today is an exciting day. It's Gear Day. And so essentially what we're going to be doing today is going over just various gear that you might see in a studio and kind of just letting you know what everything is, what it does, just to kind of introduce you to different types of gear and what you might be seeing in a studio if you've never been in one or you want to be in a studio. But we are at the Idle Tuesdays recording studio right now. We are a nonprofit recording studio. I am Connor Hadden, one of the interns, and I go to Azusa Pacific University. I love music. Music is my passion, and media and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I'm excited to show you guys some of our gear and what we do out here. So let's get started. So I'm going to introduce you guys to the very first guitar, something that probably lots of you guys all know already. But this is a guitar, obviously. This one is an acoustic guitar. You might be seeing them in the studio. And just to kind of get you familiar with the different parts of a guitar, if an engineer or something is asking you to do certain things to different parts of the guitar, this is the neck of the guitar, pretty easy. This is the headboard. We have your tuning pegs. We have the heel of the guitar. We have your bridge, we have your bridge pegs, and your saddle. So just to, if you hear those words now, you kind of know. But this instrument is going to be plugged into some cables. Do you know what this cable is?
No, I don't, but I see it's different from this one. So what are the differences?
Yes, you're right. Great eye, Sarah. She's very keen. So this cable is an XLR cable. So this is what you're going to see being plugged into, like a microphone, a direct input box. But this is basically a cable that takes your audio. It would be plugged into an interface, and then that sound would be then either amplified or recorded in waveform to be mixed and mastered if you're in the studio. But this is usually going to be a cord that you see being used with a microphone like the one Sarah has. And now your quarter inch. So your quarter inch is same idea. This would be what you would see plugged into a guitar or a piano, a lot of different instruments. And this is also going to go into your interface and plugged into the guitar. And that's how you're going to be recording different audio from instruments and basically capturing that sound wave and transferring it onto a computer or any recording software that you're going to be using. This is your interface. This is obviously a very small one, something that you might see in a home studio or something smaller of that sort. But our studio has one. It's a lot bigger. We can't have it out here. But this is basically the device that we use for transferring and capturing sound that's coming from mics or that's coming from instruments, and putting it into the computer where we're going to be recording it onto a recording software like Pro Tools or Logic or like MainStage, really anything like that. So essentially what would happen, you have your input and you plug that in, or you could plug in a quarter inch, and then this would be plugged into the computer with a recording program or software open, and then once that's plugged in, you can record, and this is basically what is capturing that sound and making it available in waveform so that it can be mixed, mastered, and edited and whatnot. So that's on this side of recording and stuff that you might see in a studio, but now we're going to talk about monitors.
Okay. And what is a monitor?
So monitors, these are more studio headphones that you would see at any studio. obviously you're going to be using these to listen to what's being recorded or what has already been recorded. But we also have studio monitors. We have some back by our board as well that look just basically, they're speakers. But it is really important to know that before you're doing anything, plugging in anything to your interface or running anything, everything is plugged into the monitors before you turn them on, or else you're going to get a little peak in the audio or a little buzz, and that can really damage your speakers. So when it comes to monitors and studio monitors, like the ones we have over here and back by the board, we really want to make sure that everything's plugged in, everything's running before you turn on those monitors, or else you might damage the monitors in one way or another. So these are also considered in-ear monitors, and these would be monitors that you probably have seen some of your favorite artists or live performers using. And these essentially are used on stage. They're plugged into a receiver pack, which is receiving audio and a mix from the sound engineer at the very back of the venue that you're at. And essentially, instrumentalists use this because it's loud on stage, especially at large concert halls or anything like that. And so with these monitors, then they can get a mix from the sound engineer that is using their vocals or has maybe like the guitar and bass and piano or something a little bit louder than the drums, so they can still hear themselves accurately, and it's not distorted with all the live sound that's happening on stage. And they also use them for what we call a click track, which is basically like a metronome in their ear, so they can stay on time and the band can stay together. So those are in-ear monitors that are usually used for live performance, but if you're trying to get into the music industry, you might see these at some point, and now you know what they are. So this is a pedal board, and this is going to be used mainly for guitars in a studio, and these are all going to be on kind of this half of the interface. You're going to be plugging your guitar directly in, and in our case, we have it's a wireless transmitter, so this would be plugged into the guitar, and then the signal from the guitar would be received by this receiver on the pedal board, and then ran through these pedals. So on this board, we have some compression and sustainer. We have a volume or an expression pedal. We have distortion and overdrive, delay, and then 2 reverb pedals. And so essentially, without getting into too much detail, each one of these pedals is going to be what your guitar is being ran through, and they each have different effects. So if you listen to like hard metal, it has like a really crunchy, like distorted sound. That's going to be like your distortion overdrive. But if you're listening to something maybe a little bit more ambient or something that has it's very textural, very like open, it might be a little bit more of like delay and reverb. And so essentially what a studio musician would do would be use these pedals before going into the preamp or the interface, and essentially using these pedals to get the sound they want, get a different, an edgier tone or a more tinny tone or a more ambient tone. And so that's going to be all done through their pedals. And then there's also some post-production that can be done in a recording software where you can do similar effects of putting on plugins with delay, reverb, distortion, kind of whatever you really please to get the sound that you want. And that can be done post-recording on a recording software. So if we weren't doing the recording software and using that, this would be ran into do you know this?
Is that an amplifier?
It is an amplifier.
That one I know.
So I'm sure a lot of viewers have seen this, but this is a guitar amplifier, and this is going to be used in a studio, usually mic'd. And essentially what we would do is we would mic it, and it really does what the name of it is. You plug in your guitar through your board or just directly if you'd like, and it amplifies the sound. And so yeah, on this, there you can EQ. So you can EQ your highs, your mids, and your lows. And essentially that's just different ways. Like a high end of recording would be like the really high, like tinier noises up top. The low ends are going to be like your basses and your heavier, more thicker tones. And so you can mess with those on an amplifier to get the desired sound. On this amplifier, we also have a little delay. We have reverb, also things that you can do with pedals or that you can do in post-production. Do you have any questions, Sarah?
No, but this could be found in any studio.
Yeah, most studios are going to have them. You need an interface, really for any type of recording to get it onto a software. Pedals, like I said, a lot of these things can be done in post-production on a recording software. But yeah, you're always going to have your instruments, your XLR, quarter-inch cables, an interface of some sort, and then a recording software, and hopefully monitors so you can hear what you're doing and whatnot.
Awesome. Thanks. I didn't know any of this before today, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's important to take care of your gear. Like I said, even with the studio monitors, making sure everything's running before you turn those on. Little things like that are really going to help the quality of your sound in a studio, and also just the longevity of your equipment and stuff like that. So always making sure you're taking care of your gear and putting things back, making sure everything's clean is all going to really be important if you're in a studio. That's going to get you a long way with producers or music engineers, and even recording artists really notice those little things. So that's basically our first part of our gear day, kind of getting our toes wet. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into our live stream today. If you do want to follow us, we have our social media handle, which is at Idle Tuesdays LA. Shout out to Idle Tuesdays. And yeah, that's about it. You can also go to our website, Idle Tuesdays, and check out some of our blogs or some of our upcoming events. And we would love to hear your feedback on our live stream videos and our YouTube videos and even our social media. So thank you guys so much. Tune in next Wednesday for another Idle Tuesdays Facebook live stream. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, you guys.
Well, I'm trying to die here, honey. Know that I